Good morning, Ventura, and welcome to another show of Fun with HR, the show where we talk about everything that's going on in our community and sprinkle in some human resources in between. So I have to tell you that I had a wonderful and amazing surprise yesterday. I think I have a secret admirer.
Say what?
I got a box of things delivered to me, no name whatsoever. No one's fessed up to it. It's actually very sweet. And as you know, we are in the middle of Rosandra Fest.
And I just want everybody to know Rosandra's married.
Happily,
thank goodness. And you get this package.
Yeah, loved it.
I actually saw it, and it's a very sweet gift, and I'm sure it's from somebody we know. So if you are the person who sent that package, if you could please let us know. But I don't want to talk about secret admirers.
Okay.
Let's talk about something a little bit more upbeat.
COVID?
No. We're going to talk about Rotary first. This morning, the Rotary Clubs of Ventura as well as the Lions Club are getting together to do the annual backpack project where they put together backpacks to give the kids going back to school.
I love that.
It's a great program, and that's going to be at Neighborhood Car Care this morning at 10 o'clock. So if you have time and you want to do some community service and have a great time, meet some fantastic people. That'll be at 1838 Thompson in Ventura. And take about an hour or 2 hours of your time.
And you get some steps in.
You get a lot of steps in. It's a great event. We had a lot of news this week about COVID. One of the things that we learned is that the efficacy rate for the D variant for COVID and the various vaccines that are out, and we found out that the Pfizer vaccine is actually 80% effective against the D variant. The Moderna is 72% effective against the D variant, and J&J is 67%, which, it's better than not having any protection at all.
Absolutely. So, one of the things that we had at the HR firm questions about this week were employers wanting to know, can I make all of my employees be fully vaccinated?
Yeah, we're hearing more and more about that. In addition to you hearing about all the restaurants and everything requiring requiring you to be vaccinated, as well as I heard Staples is actually going to require you to be vaccinated. So we're getting more and more of that.
Yes, so we're very lucky that next week we're going to have Marie Davis of Landiger, Rivas, Verano, and Davis Law Group on so that we can talk to her about this and some of the other questions that I know keep us all up at night.
It'll be good to get the legal side of it and have a professional on that does this and will be able to give us what employers could truly do and they can't do.
Great. Now, I know that we want to talk about that, but I don't want to talk about it ahead of time. I actually wanted to just remind you of our Lucy moment. Do you remember when our garage door just fell apart?
Yeah, I remember that. It was about 5:30 at night, and
on a Friday,
and there's this big screeching sound, and the garage just went clunk, and part of it fell down, and I heard parts falling out of it. Yeah, it was truly horrifying.
Well, aren't we glad that we know the right people?
I am so glad that I know Anthony Salas with Garage Door Mechanics. We gave him a call at 5:30, and he was on a call out, I believe, in Thousand Oaks at that time. But by 7:30, 8 o'clock, he was at our house and had the garage door running by 8:30. It was amazing. Anthony, how you doing today?
Good morning, Jeff. I'm doing great. Thank you. And yes, your garage door was quite a bit of a little...
You could say it. It was a mess.
It was kind of a mess, but it wasn't no challenge that I couldn't handle.
Well, Rosandra talked about the Lucy moment, but the real Lucy moment was when we were crawling around on the floor trying to find all the parts so that Anthony could put it back together again.
Yeah, we were able to scramble and get those parts together, and I remember the look in your face was, I think I may have to replace my garage door. That's what it looked like, and what it looked like was, nope, you just needed the right man, and I was able to come out. And I remember the door was pretty much in the shambles, off track, missing parts. But once we were able to locate those parts, I was able to get that door back into tip-top shape.
I want to thank you because you're absolutely right. Anybody else that didn't know any better would have said, sure, replace the door. And we would have been, okay, well, I guess we have to. So I really appreciate the fact that you were ethical, that you were absolutely customer service oriented, and more importantly, that we could call you and you would at least walk us through what we needed to do while you got there. So all of those things absolutely made a huge difference, so that by the time you got there, the respect and the trust that we all need with the people that we work with was already there. So thank you so much for doing that.
Of course, you're very welcome.
So tell me, Anthony, how did you get into garage doors? Because I don't think most people wake up and go, I'm going to be a garage door guy. So how did you get into it?
Like a lot of multi-tradesmen, in the construction industry, you kind of tend to fall into one perspective. Either it's construction and carpentry or electrician. For me, I had a great mentor who was my father, and he was a contractor who was a foreman and a framer. And growing up with him, he taught me a lot of the trades of construction. And I remember waking up, 4 or 5 in the morning, 8, 9 years old, and my dad saying, "Come on, you're going with me to work today." And I remember not being sad, not whining about having to get up so early. I was actually excited to go. Anything that could be a part of my father and just learning, it was just amazing. And growing up, as I got older, it was still something I learned. He still taught me more and more things. And by the time I got old enough to get, my first job, I fell into this janitorial position because I just needed work out of high school, and they had a maintenance crew, and they would tag me along to certain jobs to help out. And I remember I would correct the guys there, time when they were doing it wrong from what my father would teach me. And they would look at me like, "How do you know all this stuff?" And I'm like, it's just things that I picked up, and explained to them, how I kind of grew up in this kind of field and learning stuff from my father. And I remember the guys telling me, you should not be doing janitorial stuff. You should definitely be doing more, maintenance or construction. And I remember just within a few months, I got hired on. And at that point, from what I learned from my father, it was just a whole new kind of open industry of what I consider just a multi-trades person, where you learn multiple things from electrical, air conditioning, carpentry. And at that moment, I was so just astonished by wow, I can do more than just what my father had taught me. And from there on, that's what I did. I did facility maintenance. And then from there, I went into property management, which was just, kind of turnovers and learning how to kind of get a suite ready and prepared for a new tenant and to do the standard repairs. And I did that for about 10, 12 years. And again, learned more and more. More mentors I had, the more opportunity I got to learn, the more in depth of what it is to fix and repair things. And then the unfortunate happened, the 2008 economy crash. And as much as I believe the company I worked for wanted to keep everybody aboard, it really affected. That was the point in my life where I realized how businesses ran and operated, and how something, bad as the economy crash can really just
Absolutely.
take everything away.
Yep.
And working for what I did, seeing businesses just kind of go under, it was really hard. And at that point, I remember looking for work, and it was hard. I mean, if everyone who went through that realized work was it was scarce, nobody was hiring. I thought I had the upper hand by knowing the different multi-trades, but it was just as hard too. Could not get work, could not get a job. And I remember just about a year into this, a buddy of mine had asked me if I knew anything about garage doors, which I tampered with here and there, never really in depth fixed or repaired one. But, when you're looking for work and you need work, you're like, I'll take what I can get. And I remember I went in for the interview and I spoke with the owner, and it was a very well-known company here in Ventura County called Gold Coast Garage Doors. And I remember the owner was skeptic because I had no training. He was looking for someone trained, but he loved that I had that multi-trade skills, which he says is really good for this industry. And about 2 weeks later, again, not thinking I was going to get the job, he called me back and says, you know what, if you're willing to work with me and understand the ins and outs of this industry, he's like, I think you'll do good for us. And that's what opened the door for garage doors. And I started off, it was hard. I mean, there was things that I didn't know, things that I kind of like didn't want to do, but I realized like I'm not one to give up. So I worked hard, I learned. And again, he was another great mentor that just, you know, you need to learn things by the book. So for one, safety, and you don't hurt yourself. And these were other things that other mentors had taught me. It was always about the quality of your work, your safety, and just providing customer service. And when you have those mentors, you know, in and out of your life, it kind of comes stuck in your head. From my father to every other manager, supervisor who taught me, it was like my work, that was my work ethic. It's quality, it's craftsmanship, it's your honesty, it's your customer service. And it didn't even matter if you were selling anything. It like would go into a customer and you just polite, you know, ask questions, what's going on? And then that way you could provide them too, what caused the situation? Why did this happen? And from that point on, that's what stuck with me. And for this company that I worked with, it was an unfortunate situation, but he had to close the business. And I had to make, you know, that change. And that, do I want to go work for another company, or do I want to kind of do something on my own, jump on my own, which again was another huge scare. I've never ran my own business. I didn't know how to run a business, but I did know how to fix garage doors. So, you know, with that being said, I just like, do I do this, or, you know, do I do something different? And in the back of my mind is like, I love doing what I do. So I figured I'll just make that jump, and I did. I'm happy I did. Again, the first beginning of running a business is scary. I'm not going to lie, but
it absolutely is.
Yeah, because you don't have that paycheck coming on a regular basis.
No, you don't.
You got to hustle.
But I think what you found is the same thing that we've all found, that Ventura is very warm, welcoming, and completely supportive of any new business. So I'm really glad that you were able to find the group that you did to support you, BNI. Most definitely, you know, we absolutely are thrilled that you found your way into our community.
Thank you.
And I know, listening to Anthony's story, you know, your mentors have a lot to do with who you are as a business person today. And I know I've known Anthony for probably 2 years now. Is that how long you've been in BNI?
Correct.
Yeah, I've known Anthony for 2 years. And from the time he walked in and I first talked to Anthony, there was just something about Anthony that I said, this is a quality guy. And if I ever need my garage door fixed, and I should have had the maintenance done before. He always says,
Tell us why that's
he
important.
always says we need the maintenance.
Very important.
Yeah, so tell us about the maintenance.
So maintenance is the upkeep of your garage door. Basically, you want to maintain your garage door to keep that longevity, so you don't run into any unexpected repairs, or if the garage door, you know, breaks. And it just, I feel like garage door nowadays is everybody's front door, and we've talked about that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so I figure you come and go through that more than your real front door. So the more that the door gets used, just like anything else, you don't neglect your car when the oil changes due. You know that every few months you change the oil in your vehicle. Well, with your garage door, it's a mechanically moving object, and all those parts that are moving as that door is going up and down, they will wear out, and they will require, you know, service, maintaining, oiling, greasing, lubricating all those joints. Everything that moves on the door should be serviced at least yearly, if not every other year. And that's just going to prolong the door. It's going to prolong the life expectancy on all those parts. Granted, as much as I wish everything would last forever, things will wear out, things will break, you know, and that's what garage door mechanics is here for. I provide an inventory of parts that are capable of repairing anything. And like Jeff, he expressed, you know, earlier, it's just, I don't want to come out and tell you have to replace the whole garage door unless it's necessary. I mean, God forbid it happens, but if you were to run into your garage door and completely take it out, that's a different story.
Don't look at me.
But as far as repairs go, that that was what I wanted to build as far as my own companies. I wanted to bring back from what my father taught me, other mentors, is that things can be fixed and repaired. I'm not looking for the big sell. I'm looking to build, relationships with my customers. I want those referrals. And I feel like a lot of companies nowadays, they're just looking for that big sell. And to come out to a scenario like with yours, yeah, another company could have came out and said, no, you got to replace the whole door, and charged you thousands of dollars, because that's what their, motivation was, to just kind of get in there and make the sell and, move out. But I want to get in there and look thoroughly, go through it, express, give you knowledge and understanding of, the maintenance, the understanding of what it'll entail later down the road, things that you may have to fix and repair, because those are going to wear out. So that's just...
It is what it is. So we now know about your business. We want to know about you. Tell us about your family. Tell us about what is going to bring you the greatest joy outside of work.
Oh, thank you. So my family is, I do have my spouse, is Edna, and I do have 3 children, which is Noah, Lucas, and Violet. And my other big, I guess, to express with the business was to build something that the family could eventually be a part of. And that's what my goal is here to move forward with, was to eventually, my kids like to tag along. Right now they're on summer. They like to come with me on jobs and just kind of see what I do. And the thing is they don't get bored or tired. They actually want to be interactive. They want to know and understand how things work. And I love when my oldest son, I know he may change his mind, but I love, he goes, oh, Dad, he's like, I'm going to do what you do when you grow up. And,
oh, that's awesome.
That's cool.
And I love to hear that, because I love that their motivation, their drive is kind of like how I was when I was a kid, watching my dad work. And for them to be a part of that and, tell me that one day they would love to do the same thing. And I always tell them, well, this is yours. You are a part of it. This will be yours one day if you choose to, want to do this. But I never want to say, you have to do this. You may make your own decision. You may make a different change. You may want to do something different, but always know that this is here for you guys. And I feel my family is a big part of, why I still want to, grow this business and, just make it bigger than what it is.
That's awesome, Anthony. And that's why we love you and we trust you, and we'll refer to you all the time. So tell everybody out there how they could get a hold of you.
So there's, I'm on social media. You can find me on Facebook, Garage Door Mechanics. You can find me on Instagram under Garage Door Mechanics. I'm also have a website, www.garagedoormechanics.com. You can also even email me. Sometimes some customers like to get quotes, and you can email me at garagedoormechanics18@gmail.com. And I know these are big words, a lot more letters than usual, but...
well, what we'll do is we'll put your information up on Fun with HR.
Yeah.
So if they've looked us up and they've followed us, we'll make sure that your information's on there as well.
You. And I apologize. And also, I do provide free estimates. So a lot of customers, that's a big thing. They want to know, he's like, well, is there a service call? There's never a service call for me to come out. It's always free for me to come out. And I can provide you the quote and, what is needed to be done. And you can always tell me yes or no. So never any pushing on the sales. So
Very cool. Thank you for coming in this morning, Anthony. And we really enjoyed getting to hear your story and learning a little bit more about you. Fun with HR is brought to you by the HR Firm. You could reach them at 805-835-3476, because if you have employees, you have issues.
Every business owner knows employees can be your biggest asset and your biggest liability. That's why you need to know for sure that your company is compliant with today's ever-changing laws. The HR Firm is the premier human resource consulting firm in Ventura County, specializing in working with small to mid-sized companies. The HR Firm provides everything you need to keep your company compliant, from handbooks to policies and procedures to workers' compensation claim management. We've got you covered. They offer a complimentary 1-hour consultation for new clients. experience. As your local HR consultant, they're just a phone call away. For more information, contact them at info@thehrfirm.com or at 805-835-3476. Because if you have employees, you have issues. Hey employers, are you tired of spending your valuable time posting jobs on the job boards? Are you tired of looking through resumes to find that one diamond in the rough? Your time is way too valuable, so let the professionals at Atharva Workforce find that diamond in the rough for you. Spend more time on your business and less time looking for those employees. Call Atharva Workforce at 805-826-0033.
Let's go surfing, or let's look for some new employees. Atharva Workforce is searching for back office dental assistants, apprentice window cleaners, physical therapist assistants, jewelry associates, and delivery drivers. If you're interested in any of those jobs, submit your resume to email at info@atharva.solutions. Ooh, tripped over my own words.
I know. Well, you've heard about Atharva Workforce. You've actually been able to talk to the recruiter. You have been kind of wondering who and what is Atharva Workforce. And I want to introduce you my friend, Tricia Pugh Burga. And she's here representing Atharva Workforce, and she is their COO. And we're very happy to have you here. So welcome this morning, Tricia.
Good morning. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about what makes Atharva Workforce different?
Yes. So what we do is we are a recruiting firm. So I like to think of it as employer-employee matchmaking.
Love it.
Kind of like Tinder.
Exactly.
Hey, if
So-
it works for dogs, why not employees and older
Exactly.
people? And I mean, it's all about the need, right?
Hey, there might be an app in there. We got to look into that.
Absolutely. But tell us more. Yeah, I like that approach. It's about finding the right fit. It's about finding the people.
Exactly.
It's about growing together because we're all in that phase, right?
Exactly. And right now we're in that employment climate where it's a little unprecedented on where things are, that having people, quality people that actually want to work, and employers having a hard time finding people that provide good customer service and wanting to actually get in and hold a job and provide that service that employer is looking for. So what Atharva does is that we actually go and we vet the potential recruit, the candidate. We can even provide a continuing education if they have a skill set, but not necessarily for what the employer is looking for. We have options to actually give them the opportunity to learn something new.
Which is great. I mean, we at least at the HR firm have heard multiple times, not just this week, but in the past 6 months, people think this is a great opportunity to change careers, maybe look into something new, and
Yes.
Atharva Workforce would be where they can go and get this.
Yes, exactly. And so, a lot of staffing agencies will just take a warm body and set it in the seat to the employer, and it's not necessarily a match for that employer, or they rotate through people because they're temporary. That's not the case here at Atharva. We actually try to find that quality person, the person that's going to match the employer, that will stick and have that longevity and
So what you're doing is direct hires.
direct hire. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's definitely
direct hire.
different from anything else. Well, it's not different as in it's new, but it's definitely different for what we're used to.
Yes, but all employers, and also to really match the two together.
So tell me about your background. Like, why now recruiting? Why this?
Well, I came to Ventura in 1983. My family moved here. My dad completely changed careers. I grew up in early years in Northern California, and my dad decided to get into the income tax business. So I grew up in the income tax business. I always would, file or shuffle paperwork, and it just naturally progressed to becoming an income tax preparer. But income tax is only January through April.
Right.
I needed something to do April through December because I like
You like numbers.
to keep
You like
busy.
people.
I love numbers. And we were a firm of almost 1,700 clients, and a lot of them were small businesses, and they would always ask, do you do payroll? Do you do bookkeeping? And finally we said, hey, here's the opportunity for us to service our clients on a full spectrum of services to keep us busy throughout the year. So I naturally progressed to do that first, and was lucky enough to get a payroll client that said, hey, I'll be your guinea pig, and it just kind of progressed from there. And
So will Atharva Workforce do recruiting and payroll services too?
yes, absolutely. So I have had the experience with some of those larger payroll services, and I've actually worked for some of those, one of the payroll services that a lot of companies seek out. And it's, they're a different service. They're a volume service. You get, assign somebody that's going to take on your payroll. And what we do for Atharva for payroll service is we actually look at it from an HR perspective, because there's a lot of things.
So that's music to my ears.
Yes, a lot of things in payroll that companies don't realize, that there's a lot of HR involved in your payroll. That's not just hours worked times hourly wage.
And just so everyone knows, Atharva Workforce is the sister company to the HR firm. So we actually do have the same outlook as to how we take care of our clients. We are hands-on. We absolutely want the best. And more importantly, we are very well aware that we're in everybody's community. This is our community, so we want to service it as best we could. And part of what I wanted to also bring out in this is the fact that it's not a competition, but rather it's a nice collaboration.
Right.
So can you tell me a little bit more then, how would we actually go about getting Atharva Workforce to look for someone for us? Like, what is the process?
So the process is that we have potential candidates that are going to come through and present their resume to us. And we have a recruiter that actually, we basically do the interview first on the candidate, and then when we have
do we need a job description?
Yes, so we need a job description from the employer of what they're looking for. So they give us the basically profile that they're looking for, and then we find the correct candidate that fits within their needs.
How long do you think that the recruiting generally takes? Like, if from the employer standpoint, if I were looking for a person, how long would I take versus how long would you take in recruiting someone?
Well, I think that could vary, but I think where the true savings comes in for the employer is that Atharva is doing the screening. We're doing really the heavy lifting for the employers. So instead of the employer having to spend all that time searching out, running the ads, going through all the resumes, which it's time, and time is money when you're in business, right?
Right.
We save them all that time so that they're getting only like the top 3 or 4 candidates to make a selection from.
Right. So it's a fairly quick.
It's an extensive process.
Right.
But the employer sees it as a quick process because they don't have to go through all those steps.
Right.
I really think that this is something that is needed even now, because as we're coming out of COVID, well, we're kind of still in the middle of it, but as we're trying to come back into the workforce, there's going to be people that kind of want to be looked at not as what is on the resume, but as the passion maybe that they bring. And what I'm hearing you say is that the person is really going to be matched with the right employer versus just being a body.
Yes, it's a little bit, well, it's a lot more of a concierge service from an employment standpoint. So like I said, it's more of that matching service and making sure that it's not just, they're going to have to go through 3 or 4 candidates before they feel like they've gotten the right person in their place of business, and it creating that trust and that value of that employee.
So we mentioned a couple of positions earlier on: back office dental assistant, apprentice window cleaner, jewelry associate, and delivery drivers. I mean, this is just a few of the tickets that you're already working on. If we have somebody that's saying, gosh, some of those feel like I can actually do that job, how would they reach Atharva?
That would be info@atharva.solutions. That's plural. And then you submit your, it's going to ask for your name and how to contact you. And you can upload your resume.
How long will it take before somebody talks to anyone that submits their resume?
Well, we like to get back to people as soon as possible within the day, as long as, it's early enough in the day. If it's later in the day or overnight, we will contact you the next morning.
So within 24 hours.
Absolutely. Yes.
That's nice. At least for me, from the HR standpoint, I really love that you said you look at payroll and everything from the HR standpoint, because there's a lot of things that people don't realize HR kind of touches.
Yeah,
so
that's
again,
a big one.
It's not just you're doing, it's not that you're doing HR, you're kind of just making sure that you're within compliance. Compliance is a big thing for all employers, and that's really what we want to help them with. As far as that is concerned, can you tell us a little bit more about how you maintain your knowledge base?
So what I do is I actually consult with HR to make sure that I'm following up with knowing what I'm looking at as far as processing the payroll and keeping up with the education on how to look at it from the standpoint of HR.
Great. I mean, I have to tell you, I've really enjoyed working so far with you. So as you all know, I'm a type A personality. So I like everything in its place, and everything kind of has to follow a certain sequence. It's just how I work. If you really want to mess with me, like, put my pencil out of place, and it will drive me nuts. Don't touch my pencil, Jeff.
Or send you a package without
Or
a
send me a
signature on it.
package and not know who it is.
I'd like to say that was me.
I know. Please let me know. But certainly as an employer, the peace of mind that comes that it's not just my opinion, but rather you've gone through everything that you need to for compliance sake, really, I think is what I wanted everybody to focus on, because it's not just we're putting people, it's a matter of we're putting the right people with the right employer at the right time.
Yes. Yes, exactly. That's what Atharva Workforce is going to pride themselves on, is to actually make that match.
And I love that you're not really new to the community. You've been in our community for quite some time.
Yes, I grew up here.
You've been a hidden gem.
Thanks. Went to Ventura High School.
I don't know. Listening to Tricia's Rolodex, you're very well connected, Tricia.
Absolutely a hidden gem. And I'm thrilled that we have partnered, and that this is going to be something that we're doing for the community. This is a need, and absolutely.
Yes.
Welcome once again to the community, and no longer hidden.
Thanks.
Yeah, and it's a service that is so needed, because I know we've been to some restaurants lately where there's signs in the door actually saying, please be patient with us because we are short-staffed. And right there's a business owner that doesn't have time to be going through resumes and, and doing interviews. So this is a service that's very much needed, and we're so grateful to have you
Yes,
on that team.
I'm happy to be a part of it. I firmly believe that as a whole we'll get there, and ask everybody to be kind to one another. It's important.
Yeah, I know that when we saw that sign, that server, at least for me, I knew everything that they were doing. They were doing the best they could. And it kind of makes it so that I'm more grateful and appreciative of what it is they can do as I see more people walking in the restaurant. But I have to say, at least from us, that automatically made me want to tip more and make sure that they're taken care of. Because for at least an hour or two, we were taken care of. So again, let's just remember to be kind to one another.
Right.
Always. Fun with HR is brought to you by Atharva Workforce. You can reach them at 805-826-0033, or if you want to send a resume in, email your resume to info@atharva.solutions. If you think hiring a professional is expensive, wait till you hire an amateur.
Everybody get up.
If you have employees, then it is your responsibility to keep them safe. That means written rules and procedures and processes all in place. If you don't have an illness and injury prevention program, a COVID prevention program, safety program, or emergency action plan, you could have Cal OSHA knocking on your door with a notice of violation and fines in hand. But don't worry, you're not on your own. The HR firm can walk you through the safety maze to get your company compliant, all while helping you keep your employees safe. And remember, these need to be written and distributed to employees. They offer a complimentary 1-hour consultation for new clients. As your local HR consultant, they're just a phone call away. For more information, contact them at info@thehrfirm.com or at 805-835-3476. The HR Firm, because if you have employees, you have issues. Finding people to add to your team can be difficult when you don't know where to start. Do you even have a job description? Do you know how much you should be paying them? Do you even know where to find the right people for your team? Let the professionals at Atharva Workforce help you get started and find your next star employee. Spend time on your business, not searching for that new star employee. Call Atharva Workforce at 805-826-0033.
So we're back to Fun with HR. Hey Spence, we haven't hit you up at all this morning yet, but we're kind of curious how this 10,000 push-up challenge is going.
It's going very, very well. I realized, so I decided next month, September, I am going to, which is next September, by the way, I am going to do push-ups as in the ice cream. I'm going to do one for breakfast, one for lunch, and one for dinner. That's going to be the push-up fundraiser that I will enjoy, because this one it's murder. I'm on the, where are we? I'm going into my 14th day today. I've got to do 323 push-ups, and it's not getting much easier. I thought I'd have some level of improvement, so I'm trying to do them in sets where I do about 8 sets in 35 minutes with about 4 to 5 minutes rest in between, and ouch. It's, oof. I will tell you, but I'm doing it for a great cause and a wonderful, wonderful person, so we're going to forge onward.
What cause is this for? You're raising the money?
This is for, and Jim Duran's in studio with us right now, the City Center, which I would love to describe, but Jim can do such a better job at it. But I was taken when we did a remote there 4 years ago, Jim. I'm bad at math.
Yeah, it was about 4 years ago.
And it was awesome. The people there were incredible. The kids were happy. The moms and dads had a new life. They got their life back. And everybody had fun, which could have been a very, very sad story, but it was beautiful, and we had a blast. So it's always been one of the organizations in this community, Ventura County, Ventura City specifically, that I thought, man, if I can ever do anything for them, I shall. So we'll see what we can raise. I'll get in a little better shape and get some money towards you, Jim. And I appreciate your work in the community.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your support. And by the way, you are looking really buff, man. You unbelievable.
Oh, don't get Spence started. The show he put on last week.
No. I can't unsee
Jim,
that.
Jim's a
Violating HR.
Jim's a pastor, Spen, so you can't do that in front of Jim, okay?
That's awesome.
So I had this whole interview worked out for you, Jim, and we're very happy to have you on today. And then I'm on Facebook, and I see this crazy thing here at Mammoth, and then you said we'll see you in 5 days. What was that all about?
Well, my friend asked me about a month and a half ago if I wanted to go on a hiking trip with him to Mammoth, and I said, let me think about it, you know. And so he sent me an email. Here's the stuff you need if we want to go. And my wife sees the email, and she says, you're going to Mammoth? And I go, well, I haven't really decided. She goes, I think you should go. And I said, well, I called him up. I'm going. And so we decided to take 5 days, and we did about close to 40 miles. And for my first time, I mean, I think that's a lot. But we hit Pica Lake, which was absolutely beautiful. We went to Purple Lake after that and spent the night. And then from there we went to Fish Creek, which was like a private beach, which was amazing. And then we spent our last night at Barney Lake. And every night we had a stream going by. We were listening to the water every night. It was just a wonderful time to be out there in nature, to be out there with nobody around. I had no cell service. I had no Wi-Fi. I had no communication. It was absolutely amazing. It was amazing.
Wait, hiking?
Well, I know the hiking part, but it'd be nice to be unplugged.
I mean, hiking for me is like the Marriott. I don't know if I could do 5 days, I'm in awe.
I just got to say, Jim, you are looking in fantastic shape.
Thank you.
And
thank you.
I'm glad you made it.
Me too. I mean, because day one, I thought, what am I doing? You know, the first hike up. Yeah,
that's
I was
like 8 miles a day on average.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So, why don't you tell us about what's going on with City Center and Tender Life?
Well, I'll tell you. First of all, let me just tell you about City Center, because Spence kind of opened that door for us. The City Center Transitional Living, for people that don't know, it's a community. It's a converted motel where we take homeless children and their parents. You have to have children to move in that are homeless, and we give them a shot at life. We give them the life skills that they need in order for them to move out and be self-sufficient. So we take in a family, and they have to be willing to work. They have to be clean off of drugs and alcohol for at least 6 months. And then we bring them in and we say, okay, look, here's the program. Here are the goals. In order for you to graduate, you need to have a full-time job. You need to get reliable transportation. And most people don't have jobs when they come in. They don't have cars when they come in. They're on the bus. And quite frankly, sometimes that's a good thing, so they learn and appreciate, how hard it is. And once you get a car, you value that, and you start taking care of things like that. And so you also have to have a savings account. So 20% of everything you earn goes into a savings account that you get when you move out. And then you also get out of debt. So whatever debt, we have a lot of debt when people come in, credit card debt. We have court fines. I mean, some of these people have $25,000 in court fines, And so we help you get out of debt. And then the last thing for you to graduate is you're off of all government funding. And I got to tell you, most of the time these people come in, we say, what are your goals? And they say, well, my goal is to get on housing. My goal is to get on the housing list. In other words, my goal is for the government to take care of me the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. And we know that that's not freedom. We know that that's not the way to live. So we shift that around. We say, no, here's the goal. You're going to make enough money where you can get off of government funding. We're going to put a plan together for you to be self-sufficient. So that's how you graduate. And I'm just so happy to say that we have an amazing team. We have incredible pastors on staff who are on-site managers. We have case managers, 2 of them, one that lives on site and one that comes in and does case management. But the residents meet with case management every week. They meet with if they need therapy. Most of them have been through incredible trauma, living, quite frankly, out of trash cans and eating out of trash cans. There was one lady who was pregnant and was feeding herself through trash cans, just like unbelievable. The things that they go through. Some are drug addicted and so on and so forth. So there's therapy involved. We also have mentors. We give them mentors. Every single resident will have somebody that walks alongside them through this journey. And I'm just happy to tell you that over the last 7 years, we have been able to graduate it's over 80 families now, and it's over 280 people now today that we've been able to graduate, and not one of them have gone back into homelessness.
Fantastic.
And so we're excited about that. But I'll tell you, one thing happened to us where there was a single mom who said, hey, you made me get off of all government funding. I make just about above minimum wage. I have 3 kids. I've graduated. Where do I go live? I have no place. I don't make enough. I mean, I make enough to take care of my family, but where am I going to go rent a place? And we thought, man, that's absolutely true. You know, when you were dependent on government funding all this time, and then you have a family and you need some support, where do you go?
Yeah.
So that's when we created the graduate program at the City Center. So that gives you up to 2 more years. You have up to 24 months in phase 1 to graduate, and then once you graduate, you can go in the graduate program, which is up to another 24 months. Well, the graduate program is just a little bit different. You don't have a curfew in the graduate program. In the graduate program, you don't pay 30% of your income doesn't go to program fees. We have a flat rate, which is only $600 a month. So as long as you could pay your $600 a month, you could work as minimal hours as you want, because we want you to go back to school. We want you to get an education. We want you to finish your degree, finish your college, whatever it is that you're going. So we have people that have left in dental hygienist school. Right now, there's someone who's going to be an x-ray technician who's in our program right now. We have somebody who just graduated from the cosmetology school, and so she's going to open up her own business. We're just really proud of them. So the graduate program is to get you in a place where you can make more money, so this way you're self-sufficient when you leave the place. Now, these people are leaving with $27,000 in their savings account, $30,000 in their savings account. We had a couple leave. They paid off $30,000 in debt and took $25,000 in their savings when they left. So the program's working. We're the only program that and we're not, unfortunately, we're not funded by the government at all. We get no government funding at all, because we're not what they call a housing first model. And what they mean by that is you put somebody, regardless of what their situation is, you put shelter, give them shelter, and then hope everything works out. We say, no, let's put somebody in a room and let's work with them side by side, give them the life skills that they need, and then they're going to be successful. So we don't get funded by the government, but it's all our community. It's things like what Spence does with the push-up thing, the money that comes in with that. We have people that sponsor rooms at $7,500 a year to sponsor a room. So we have businesses, private donors, churches that actually sponsor rooms, and it's amazing. So it's a community thing. We're all involved in homelessness, right? So it affects all of us, which means that people, when they give, man, it supports a great cause. We just purchased our property. We didn't pay it off, but we just purchased it, which saves us about $6,500 a month, because we don't rent anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So that's awesome. But the great part about that is that our goal is to raise over the next 3 years $1.1 million. We owe more, but $1.1 million is one of our loans. If we pay that off within the next 3 years, that's going to set us up to open up city centers throughout our county. And our goal is to get every homeless child off the street.
That's a very admirable goal. And I know, as driven as Jim is, if that's your vision, I'm sure that's going to happen very, very soon. So what else is going on? What other programs are you doing?
So we also have Tender Life Maternity Home. Tender Life's been around for about 35 years, and it's a home for pregnant homeless women and their babies.
Mm-hmm.
And back in the day, before we owned it, we bought it about 4 years ago. So grateful that Project Understanding used to own it, and they asked me if I'd run it, and we talked about it, and I said, well, give it to me for a year, let's see what we could do. And within 2 months, the place was full. Babies were being born. Things were going great. So a year later, they said, hey, you want to run it for another year? I said, absolutely. It was just wonderful. So then about 6 months into that, they said, do you want to buy it? And I got together with our church board, and I said, hey, do you want to buy this place? It makes sense. It's what we do. They said, sure. And so for the last 4 years, we've been running it, and last 2 years, we've owned it. And I say all that to tell you that back in the day, you'd have a baby there, and in 3 months you'd have to move out. Mm-hmm. Well, oh my gosh, how do you bond with your baby knowing that you got to leave in 3 months? So we made up some new rules. We said you can come in at any stage of your pregnancy, and once you come in after you have your baby, you could stay up to a year. And so like right now we have 4 women that are going through school to get their high school diploma. So they've all had their babies. They're getting their high school diploma. They'll be done here in a month or so. And then we put them in the workforce. And we get them ready if they want to. And then we get them ready for City Center. And we transition them over into the City Center program, which gives them more time. But we have been so blessed to watch these women grow and become the mothers they were created to be. It's amazing to see. We've had In the last 4 years, we've had 30 babies born at Tender Life. 30. I mean, and now I get to see them. 4 years ago, I saw the first babies born. Now I see them at 4 years old, and they're running around, and they're running up and hugging me. It's awesome. But to know that these women, a lot of them, they had no place to go. Their families cut them off for a lot of great reasons. I mean, I'm not blaming their families at all, but their families cut them off. The drug addiction got to them, whatever the case. I mean, we've had women come in that have only been clean for about a month. And, we say 3 months, but quite frankly, if you're not quite 3 months clean, we're going to take you in because it's the baby we're concerned about before anything else. And so the program is going great. We just had our annual walk, which we hit our goal. We raised $40,000 last month, which helps us tremendously. Spence was there as well, which was great supporting. But Tender Life is absolutely a place where you can come and you can volunteer. You could actually be a mentor to the women that live there. And you can also make meals. We have family dinners every Sunday night. And so, a family can come in, bring their kids, cook a meal with the ladies that live there, and share life with them. A lot of the women don't have just the basic skills. Like, they don't know how to go in and advocate for themselves, and so having mentors to walk alongside of them is awesome. They don't know how to set a table sometimes, just how to go out to eat, knowing that what the knife is for is actually to cut your steak up, not the fork just to put the steak in your mouth, right? Basic, simple stuff that you and I would just, that's normal. A lot of them don't know that. And so it's just wonderful to walk alongside of them. Once again, we have a great staff there. Matter of fact, our assistant house manager is a graduate from the city center, which we think is phenomenal. And then our house manager was actually in Tender Life about 12 years ago. So she understands the program. So we got a great team.
Jim brought up a great synergy that I didn't even put two and two together. But Tender Life, you go there, you have up to a year after you have your child. And then if you still need help, you just move right next door in the city center. I mean, that's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
Yeah. Well, there's one thing that we don't cover at City Center. Your kids, the children that move in, have to be 12 and under. So what do you do with the children that are 13 and over? Do you know that there was no place in Ventura County for a family who's homeless to take, if they have children over 13, to go? There's no place.
Wow.
So our church, the River Community Church, which is right next to City Center, right next to Tender Life, the River Community Church went into a partnership with the County of Ventura on July 1st, and we have what we call an emergency family shelter. And the City Center, the River Community Church, we found an apartment, and we partner with the county. The county finds us a family that has children or families that have children over the age of 13, and then we put them in this apartment, and they stay there for a couple months until the county finds them a place to live. So we're contracted to get 2 apartments. We're looking for our second one right now. But so there's hope for families that have kids that are over 13. There's a place now for them to go.
That is awesome. I didn't think that City Center had an age limit for the children.
Yeah.
That's very much needed.
I didn't think I could love you anymore, Jim, but it's just, well, you're very dear to us. When Jeff and I decided to get married, we couldn't think of anybody else to do that. And
it was such an honor. I was so blessed to be, because I've known Jeff for, years now, since
it's almost 20 years.
Almost 20
now,
years, yeah. And so when you guys asked me, it was just I was so blessed. Thank you.
No, we were blessed, and it's still something we talk about.
Jim not only married us once, he married us twice.
I know.
That's
You
right.
just wanted to make sure that it was done.
It was going to stay.
Yeah.
So how are your wife and the family doing?
They are good. She's happy I came home from our trip. She's glad I'm alive. And
Well, with no cell phone reception,
Yeah.
she was kind of wondering.
yeah, my friend had one of those GPS things, so he was able to send out a text every
track.
night.
Nice.
So, they kind of knew we were still alive, and she followed us around on the grid. But family's doing good. I have six kids, 3 grandkids, and we get together for dinner every Sunday night. So they're doing wonderful.
That's beautiful. We're so grateful to have you come in today. Anything in the future, near future events that you're going to be doing?
Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, right now the kids and family together are over at the River Community Church, passing out backpacks to about 100 families of their foster children and stuff. So that's kind of cool. That's happening right now. And then tonight we partner with an organization called Marriage Well, and they're phenomenal. Marriage Well does counseling for married couples. They do one-on-one individual counseling, whatever you need. But they also do events for date nights and things like that, because a lot of couples don't go out on dates after a while. So they create these things called date nights. Tonight is not just a date night. Tonight is a clean comedy night. It's going to be at the River Community Church. It's going to be at 7:30 tonight, 7:30 to 9. Top comedians. I kid you not. These guys are incredible. So they're going to be performing tonight, which is going to be, it's only $15, and you can go to marriagewell.com if you want to get tickets. It's marriagewell.com. But that's fun. City Center has a golf tournament coming up October 11th. Our big gala, which is Mission Possible, saving one family at a time, saving the world one family at a time. That's going to be September the 11th. And then next year we'll have some more stuff going on with Tender Life. But that's the most current events that are coming up.
Awesome. Get us that information. We'll put it up on our Facebook page.
Thank you.
Well, Rosandra, it's another hour in the books.
Number 2.
Can you believe it?
Number 2 in a series of many.
Series of many, yes. Fun with HR was brought to you today by the professionals of the HR firm and Atharva Workforce. We take care of each other so we can grow together. Until next week, when we'll have Dr. Kalani from Kalani Total Health. Our travel guru is going to be here, Sharuthi Baratur from Blue Planet Getaways. And we're also going to get to speak with Patty Birmingham from the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Ventura. Looking forward to it. We'll see you all next week.
I'm all the time and all I got is 4 minutes. 4 minutes.